Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, stretch a little, and feel like your energy just didn't clock in for work today? Maybe your knees creak more than they used to, or your get up and go got up and left a decade ago. Trust me, you're not alone. And if you've ever thought, is this just what aging feels like? Then I want you to meet someone who will completely shift that perspective. Her name is Julia Hawkins, but most people now know her as Hurricane Hawkins. Why? Because at the age of 107, this incredible woman is still running. Yes, you heard that right. She started running races at 100 and is still setting records in track and field events like the 100-meter dash. And get this, she's not just walking across that finish line. She's running, moving, competing, smiling, living. Now I know what you might be thinking. She must have superhuman genes. Or maybe, that's amazing, but there's no way I could ever do something like that. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need to run races or win medals. But what if I told you there's something Julia's doing every day that's helping her body stay energized, her mind stay clear, and her heart stay young? And what if it's something you can start doing today? No matter your age, that something is what she eats. Food isn't just about filling your stomach. It's fuel, medicine, and, when chosen right, one of the most powerful tools for aging with strength, clarity, and grace. Julia's secret. She keeps things simple and natural, but intentional. And it makes all the difference. Julia eats mostly plants. Real, whole, colorful plants. No fad diets. No trendy powders. Just fruits, vegetables, legumes, and a few little indulgences she allows herself now and then. It's the kind of diet that feels like it came straight out of your backyard garden. And science is finally catching up to what Julia has clearly known all along, that the best path to a strong, long life is paved with whole, plant-based food. One of her favorite snacks is something you might already have on your kitchen counter: bananas. They're not fancy, but they pack a punch. Rich in potassium, bananas help regulate blood pressure and support your heart health, something that becomes more and more important as we age. They also help keep your muscles from cramping and your digestion smooth. And here's the fun part. They're also nature's sleep aid. Bananas have magnesium and tryptophan, nutrients that relax your muscles and help your brain produce serotonin and melatonin. That means better sleep, and better sleep means better everything. Think about that. One banana a day could mean fewer leg cramps at night, easier mornings, and a more stable mood. Sometimes, the smallest changes open the biggest doors. Now, Julia doesn't stop at bananas. She loves her leafy greens. Broccoli, spinach, kale, you name it. These aren't just good-for-you foods. They're life-giving. Broccoli, for example, has as much vitamin C as an orange, plus calcium, which is key for keeping bones strong. Spinach is loaded with vitamins A, C, K, and iron. Great for your immune system and energy levels. And kale? Kale is a champion. Full of fiber and antioxidants, it helps your cells stay younger and your body fight off inflammation. One of the sneakiest contributors to aging and chronic disease. Here's something to keep in mind. Aging doesn't automatically mean getting weaker, but what we put on our plates plays a massive role in how we age. Leafy greens can help keep your joints moving, your skin glowing, and your mind sharp. And don't worry, Julia's not chomping on raw spinach all day. She makes it enjoyable. Warm soups, colorful salads, a sprinkle of olive oil, and maybe a pinch of sea salt. It's about nourishing the body, not punishing it. She also has a soft spot for natural yogurt. But not the sugar-loaded kind you see stacked in grocery store fridges. Julia prefers plain, unsweetened yogurt, rich in probiotics that keep the gut happy. And a happy gut means a stronger immune system, better digestion, and even a brighter mood. More and more research is connecting the dots between gut health and brain health. And the older we get, the more we want both of those working in harmony. When your gut is balanced, your whole body feels it. Fewer bloating days, more regularity, better nutrient absorption. It's one of the least talked about secrets to staying young, and one of the easiest to start. A scoop of yogurt in the morning with some berries or nuts can be a delicious and powerful choice. Now let's talk about protein, because you might be wondering, where does she get her strength from? Julia doesn't rely on steaks or burgers. She chooses beans and lentils. Simple plant-based proteins that are easy on the body and loaded with nutrients. They help maintain muscle, especially important as we age and naturally start to lose mass. Plus, they're fiber-rich and help stabilize blood sugar levels. Julia also eats nuts, especially almonds and walnuts, every day. And there's a good reason for that. Nuts are full of healthy fats that protect the heart, support brain function, and lower inflammation. Walnuts in particular are fantastic for memory and cognitive health. So if you've ever walked into a room and forgotten why you're there, grab a handful of walnuts. They won't solve everything, but they sure won't hurt. Now, none of this means you have to overhaul your diet overnight, but what it does mean is that you can start making small changes. Today, that will pay off for years to come. You deserve to feel strong, clear-headed, and full of life. Julia Hawkins is living proof that it's possible. And the beautiful thing? These foods aren't rare. They're not expensive. They're not hard to prepare. They're already sitting in your grocery store, maybe even your kitchen right now. All they're waiting for is your choice to use them as the tools they were meant to be. So as we continue exploring Julia's daily habits and choices, remember this. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. One banana, one bowl of greens, one glass of water at a time. These moments add up. Just ask Hurricane Hawkins. So far, we've seen how Julia Hawkins keeps her plate full of fruits, vegetables, legumes, and the occasional helping of yogurt and nuts. These aren't revolutionary ideas. They're old-fashioned in the best way. But there's more to her dietary routine that helps her stay not just alive, but alive and thriving at 107. And it starts with something so simple it often gets overlooked. Water. Julia drinks water like it's her best friend, because in many ways it is. It lubricates her joints so she can keep moving, it helps her muscles recover from activity, and it supports nearly every vital function inside her body. Think of water as your body's personal delivery service. It brings nutrients to your cells, clears out waste, and keeps everything flowing. Literally. And as we age, our sense of thirst naturally decreases. That's why many older adults live in a constant state of mild dehydration without even realizing it. You may not feel thirsty, but if your energy is dipping, your skin feels dry, or you get lightheaded when you stand up, those could be signs your body's quietly asking for more hydration. Julia doesn't reach for sodas or sweet teas. She keeps it simple with water. Cool, clean, and consistent. And she avoids caffeine, which can mess with sleep and stress the heart if overdone. It's a gentle but powerful choice. And you can start this habit today. Just keep a glass of water nearby and take a few sips each time you walk by. It's not about chugging a gallon all at once. It's about consistency, just like Julia's approach to everything. But let's talk about something that might surprise you. For all of Julia's healthy choices, she's not about strict rules or diets that feel like punishment. In fact, she has a soft spot for a little indulgence. She loves fried crabs and oysters. That's right, fried. And if you're thinking, wait, that doesn't sound like a superfood, you're right, it's not. But here's where Julia's wisdom really shines. She understands that joy matters too. You see those crabs and oysters? They're packed with protein, omega-3s, and essential minerals like zinc, selenium, and vitamin D, all of which support brain function, bone strength, and immune health. And yes, while fried food shouldn't be a daily habit, allowing yourself a small indulgence now and then, especially when it brings a smile, is part of what keeps life rich and satisfying. Julia doesn't eat to avoid disease. She eats to live. And that's a huge mindset shift that many of us overlook. If every meal feels like a chore or every snack is followed by guilt, it drains the joy out of eating. Julia brings gratitude to the table, not guilt. This idea of balance is something we can all learn from. Maybe it means having your morning oatmeal, your spinach salad, and, once in a while, treating yourself to something that warms your heart as much as it fills your belly. Because when food nourishes not just the body but also the soul, you start to feel more whole, more alive. Now here's something that's rarely talked about when it comes to nutrition: digestion. As we age, our digestive systems slow down. Foods we once tolerated easily can start to cause bloating, discomfort, or irregularity. But Julia's plant-forward diet, full of fiber, water, and probiotics, helps keep her system running smoothly. That means fewer bathroom issues, less bloating, and better absorption of all those good nutrients she's eating. This is why her choice to avoid heavily processed foods makes such a difference. Processed meals are often packed with added sugars, sodium, and unhealthy fats, and lacking in fiber, vitamins, and natural enzymes. These ingredients don't just make us gain weight. They also increase inflammation, spike blood sugar, and can even affect mood and memory over time. When you walk into Julia's kitchen, you're not going to find boxed dinners or frozen TV meals. You'll find fresh ingredients, simple pots simmering with vegetable soup, bowls of nuts and fruits within easy reach. Her meals are homemade but not complicated. Just honest food, cooked with care, seasoned with love, and served with intention. And what's amazing is that you don't need to be a chef to do the same. You don't need to follow a complex recipe or shop at an expensive organic store. A pot of lentils with some chopped carrots and onions, a spinach salad with a drizzle of olive oil, a banana sliced into a bowl of plain yogurt. These aren't gourmet meals. They're good meals. And more than that, they're meals that love you back. Now, if all this sounds like a big change, don't worry. Julia didn't start running marathons on day one, and she didn't switch her diet overnight either. It's not about perfection. It's about direction. Every day is a new opportunity to treat your body with kindness. One swap at a time. One glass of water at a time. One step toward a healthier you. Because the real takeaway from Julia's life isn't just what she eats, it's how she lives. With energy, with joy, with balance. She chooses foods that give back. She drinks water like it's a gift. She stays active in ways that make her happy. And she never stops believing that life can still surprise her. So today, maybe you fill your plate with something green. True. Or you start your morning with a banana instead of a pastry. Maybe you drink an extra glass of water or skip the sugary drink at dinner. These are small things, but they stack up. And before you know it, you've built a new foundation, one that supports you in feeling stronger, lighter, clearer, and more energized. And let me say this, it's never too late. Never too late to feel better, to eat smarter, to walk a little farther, or rest a little deeper. Julia's story isn't just inspiring. It's a reminder that aging doesn't mean shrinking. It can mean expanding into wisdom, into health, into joy. If you've been following along, then you already know that Julia Hawkins isn't just beating the odds. She's redefining them. And while her diet is simple, natural, and grounded in good sense, the way she approaches eating might be her biggest secret of all. Because Julia doesn't just eat healthy food, she has a healthy relationship with food. And that relationship is based on three things: consistency, enjoyment, and trust in her body. Let's take a moment to talk about that last one: trusting your body. It's something many of us forget how to do as we get older. After all, we've been through a lot: illnesses, medications, surgeries, setbacks. It can feel like our body is betraying us, slowing down, or becoming a stranger. But Julia teaches us something powerful. Your body is still yours. It still responds. It still wants to heal. And it still deserves kindness, even if it's not perfect. That kindness shows up in every bowl of soup she makes, in every time she chooses a handful of almonds instead of a processed snack, in every glass of water she sips throughout the day. And it shows up in how she moves her body too. Walking, stretching, running when she can, resting when she needs to. She listens. And when we start to listen to our bodies instead of battling them, something remarkable happens. They start working with us, not against us. That's part of why Julia's diet isn't rigid. She doesn't count calories or obsess over carbs. She knows what makes her feel good, and she sticks with it. She eats when she's hungry. She stops when she's full. She doesn't moralize her food. There's no bad or good, just what makes me feel alive today. And maybe that's the most refreshing part of all. Now here's something else that makes a big difference, especially as we age: routine. Julia doesn't just eat healthy once in a while. She builds her day around the habits that work. A regular breakfast, usually simple, light, and full of fiber. A lunch filled with greens, grains, and protein from plants. A light dinner that doesn't weigh her down. And always, always plenty of water. And yes, sometimes those fried crabs or oysters make an appearance. And they're savored, not rushed. Because food isn't just fuel. It's connection. It's history. It's joy. Whether she's cooking for herself or sharing with others, Julia brings presence to the table. And that presence, that mindful appreciation of each bite, may be just as important as what's on the plate. There's also something beautiful about how Julia eats seasonally. She chooses what's fresh, what's growing, what's natural to her region and her rhythm. That's something many of us grew up with. Gardens in the backyard, picking berries in the summer, hearty stews in the winter. Returning to that rhythm, to real in-season food, reconnects us with the land and with ourselves. Julia also steers clear of something that's become way too common in the modern world: processed food. You won't find her loading up on packaged snacks, sugary drinks, or microwave meals. Not because she's trying to be trendy, but because she knows, from experience, that real food simply makes her feel better. When we eat food that comes from nature, not a factory, we're giving our bodies the tools they actually recognize. Vitamins that absorb properly, fiber that cleanses and supports digestion, antioxidants that fight the tiny fires of inflammation inside us. It's like feeding a classic car the right kind of fuel. It just runs smoother. And Julia isn't afraid of fat either, but she chooses the right ones. Olive oil for cooking, nuts and seeds for snacking, avocados when they're in season. These fats don't clog up the body. They nourish it. They protect the heart and the brain, and they help us absorb all the nutrients from the beautiful vegetables we eat. There's a lot of fear out there about aging, about losing independence, about getting sick. And yes, those are real concerns. But here's what Julia Hawkins shows us. While we can't control everything, we can control what we put on our plate. We can wake up every morning and make a loving choice. A green smoothie, a bowl of berries, a hearty vegetable soup, a walk after dinner instead of another hour on the couch. These things don't just extend life, they expand it. And if you've ever thought to yourself, It's too late for me. I want you to remember this. Julia started running at 100.000. Not 30, not 50, at 100 years old. So if you're 60, 70, 80, you're just getting started. It's never too late to start choosing better foods, to start drinking more water, to start eating in a way that helps your joints feel better, your mind feel clearer, and your heart feel lighter. It doesn't take magic. It just takes commitment. And don't underestimate the power of small steps. A switch from white bread to whole grain. A habit of adding spinach to your omelet. Swapping sugary drinks for a tall glass of lemon water. These aren't just changes. They're quiet revolutions. And over time, they can transform your life just like they've helped Julia shape hers. She once said, "You're not going to be perfect at over 100, but nothing stops me." And I think that's the heart of it. She doesn't chase perfection. She embraces possibility. And every time she ties her shoes and heads outside, every time she sits down to a simple, nourishing meal, she proves something powerful. You are never too old to live well. And neither are you. So as you finish watching this video today, I hope you'll take one thing with you. That food is not your enemy. It's your partner. It's your strength. It's your legacy. Choose well. Eat with joy. And live with the kind of energy that turns heads. Just like Hurricane Hawkins.